Thanks.
Did you spot that? The lettuce is underneath the patty. But when the kid starts crying and SpongeBob jumps, the lettuce ends up on top of the patty. Pretty crazy, right? Now, let's check out some more mistakes from this episode and others in seasons 10 and 11 of SpongeBob. First up is Plankton Gets the Boot. Let's check out some clips.
Can't you see I'm working on my new molecular analyzer? Now all I need is the smallest molecule of a patty, and the formula will be mine! I said not now!
So there was a mistake here, but it's kinda hard to see at this speed. When slowed down, an error happens on the TV with all the numbers. For one frame, right before it switches to the scrolling numbers, it goes blank except for a single 0 at the bottom. Since Plankton wanted to be so mean to Karen, she kicked him out of the chum bucket. We see Plankton flying through the air. But look at the road. There should be another path that runs to the Krusty Krab right across from the chum bucket. Now, watch the banner in this next scene.
We're gonna be the best roommates ever. Ooh, wanna do each other's hair?
Oh, forget this.
There are actually two mistakes in this scene. There is a drawing of Plankton on the banner, but it doesn't look quite right. His antennas aren't attached to his body, and look where his arms meet his body. At first, there are no issues here, but when the camera cuts to Plankton, then back to SpongeBob, the outline of the arms overlap the body. We have another error with SpongeBob and Plankton here. Try to spot the mistake in this one.
Well, if Karen threw you out for doing the same things you always do, maybe you should learn to not do the same things you always do.
When SpongeBob says not and lifts his head, the hole on the top right of his face turns transparent. It flashes blue, the same color as the wall behind him. This next mistake is another one that has to be slowed down to be seen. When Patrick turns around here, his eyebrows disappear right before he screams. Next up, life insurance. SpongeBob, Patrick, and Squidward have no idea what the real meaning of life insurance is, which is pretty funny. And the mistakes start early on. In the opening shot of SpongeBob's house, his window on the bottom right is missing. Watch SpongeBob's mouth in this scene.
We call it the sushi maker.
SpongeBob's mouth doesn't seem to be syncing up with what he's saying very well. It looks off around the time he says sushi maker. This isn't even the worst mistake in this episode. Once you see the others, you'll be surprised that you didn't notice them before.
Actually, you better take two since you're kind of a klutz.
No piece of paper can protect a person from getting hurt. That was a coincidence. Driving's hard.
Did you see the mistake here? Squidward is given 2 life insurance papers, and he's holding one in each hand. Then, when the car almost hits him, the unrolled contract in his right hand disappears and doesn't seem to make a reappearance. Who knows where it went?
Did you see that? I ran right through a brick wall. I'm hard as nails. Come on, world, bring it on!
Okay, so this mistake is really easy to miss if you don't know where to look. As the 3 of them are running, there's a rock in the background that seems to be on the wrong layer or something. As Squidward, Patrick, and SpongeBob pass in front of it, it's in the foreground. They pass 3 rocks. The second and third one are in front of Patrick's legs. Up next is another episode about Plankton called Plankton Retires. Let's check out some clips and mistakes.
We interrupt this program to bring you a Bikini Bottom news flash.
Mr. Plankton, we've received word that you're plotting to infiltrate the Krusty Krab and steal the Krabby Patty's secret formula. Is that true?
First, I break into the safe and... Huh? Wait, is this live?
Yes.
Don't broadcast my secret plans!
It's really no secret, but Plankton isn't happy to have his plans broadcasted live. When he turns around to face the camera, there's a weird error where he turns to face the cameraman without moving his lower half when the camera zooms in. There's a really bad error with Karen here. Plankton literally unplugs her at one point, but look at what's missing a few seconds before.
I have had enough!
Aw, I think someone needs their baba.
No, Karen, that's just not gonna work anymore. Don't you see? We're done here.
When Karen first rolls into the frame, she isn't plugged up to anything. There's no cord, no plug, no nothing. And then, when Plankton jumps onto the ground, it's just suddenly there. SpongeBob almost always has on his iconic Krusty Krab hat whenever he's at work. He has it on for a few scenes in this episode, but there's one scene where something weird happens.
Crabs? SpongeBob? Why aren't you in Dolesville?
We cut to a quick scene with the robot version of these three characters, and then we jump right back to them. Notice anything different?
So you're the real Krabs and SpongeBob. Give me that!
SpongeBob's Krusty Krab hat wasn't there in the first scene, and then suddenly, when we jump back to them, it's there. With the jump to the robots, no time has actually passed, so it's not like he went and put it on. Next is a really interesting episode called Trident Trouble. It's a little different from the usual episode. Check it out.
Behold, we're the Greek chorus. We narrate this epic tale of stupidity.
Sorry.
Scene.
Forget the stupid comic! We've got a situation here! We don't have any Krabby Patties, and these animals are trying to eat us instead!
So, Squidward's eyelids are usually a darker shade than his skin color. You can see it whenever he squints as he speaks. But there is an error around the time he says, "We've got a situation here." He blinks twice, and both times his eyelids are the wrong color. Later on, the crazy customers literally eat Squidward's hat. It's gone, being digested in the stomach of a hungry fish. But about a minute later, when Squidward is being stepped on by the walking Krabby Patties, the hat is back. He even tries to cover it up. So unless he got a new hat and is trying to protect it from being taken again, this is an error. A similar mistake happens with Mr. Krabs here.
Get their panties out here fast, SpongeBob!
He's literally taken out of his clothes. But then the next time we see him, he's wearing them again. There's an error with this fish's color scheme. He's seen here with a greenish body and brown pants, similar to Fred's color scheme. This is Incidental 106, and when we see him again later, he has a brownish gray body with blue pants. There's another mistake with a background character later on too. We see Incidental 40 running away from the geezer and getting swept up in the flood, but then he's in the group of fish that Mr. Krabs is chasing around later. There aren't that many errors in Lost and Found, but they're interesting and thought-provoking. It makes you wonder how the creators managed to miss them. We already talked about the first mistake in this episode at the start of the video. It's still such a crazy mistake, but check out this next one.
What is this? It looks like Bikini Bottom.
It's a common mistake, but did you notice it? SpongeBob's eyelashes disappear after he shakes the snow globe and looks up. This next one is an audio mistake, so listen closely.
Look what I found!
Get back! Get back!
Mr. Krabs uses SpongeBob to hit Ginger on top of the head, which is kinda rude. But as he hits her, you hear her go oof, but her mouth never moves. And the last one on our list for today is an episode from season 11 called The Checkup. A lot of these mistakes are at the beginning of the episode, so let's check them out.
Squidward, what do you think the nurse is doing to him in there? It's called a checkup.
Getting a checkup is the best. The nurse poked me and prodded me and jabbed me and pulled me and twisted me. And
Okay, that's enough. You want me to what?
So there are actually a few mistakes here already. One is very noticeable. When SpongeBob says, "and pulled me," and he pulls himself off frame, his hat completely disappears. It doesn't reappear until here. Where did it go? When did he get it back? Who knows? The second mistake is really hard to see unless the video is slowed down. But right around here, when SpongeBob lands on his feet, both his teeth turn yellow. Another mistake happens with SpongeBob here. His eyelashes are missing until he looks back at the door. A very similar mistake happens in this scene, when SpongeBob puts the nurse hat on. So Mr. Krabs seems really scared, and the nurse says this.
This is no laughing matter. Every employee must get their checkup. or the restaurant will be closed.
But technically, Mr. Krabs is the owner of the Krusty Krab and not an employee. Therefore, he should be exempt from the checkup. This kind of breaks the plot for the episode, because they spend the entire time getting a scared Mr. Krabs to do the checkup when he shouldn't have to do it to begin with. Well, that's all for today. If you enjoyed it, be sure to subscribe. Then click the video on screen to watch our newest video. See you there.